Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me here on the mat today. This class is an offering to take a moment of self-love and compassion. In the Yoga Sutras, number 1.33 is an essential teaching on compassion. It shows us that the balance of the mind can be maintained by cultivating a feeling of love for those who are happy, compassion for those who are suffering, joy for those who experience success, and composure for those who make mistakes. This advice is also so important to how we relate to ourselves. How often have we been so hard on ourselves, yet if our best friend was in that same situation, would we behave that way? Would we tell them those words of failure or disappointment that we're so quick to put onto ourselves? It's so important to take the time for yourself to find clarity and compassion. It's the most important relationship is the one you have with yourself. When it comes to love, acknowledge that you deserve health and happiness, that you're worthy of effort. Remind yourself how the effort you're making to take action supports your well-being. Compassion. Without self-judgment, recognize this habit of being hard on yourself that you're trying to change. This creates suffering and stress. Then acknowledge your desire to be free from this suffering. Joy. Give yourself credit and celebrate any positive actions you've taken, and have gratitude for the support you may receive from friends and family. Equanimity. Remind yourself that setbacks and mistakes are only human. They're an important part on the path of change. Focus on your longer vision to be happy, healthy, and free from suffering. Offer yourself this time and space to be kind and gentle with yourself. Throughout the class, we'll begin with some restorative postures and then move on to a seated practice. So I will be offering you the use of a bolster. If you don't have a yoga bolster, you could use pillows, blankets, cushions of any kind. If you have some folded up towels, you could put them into a pillowcase. This makes quite a good bolster replacement. And also want to offer you the use of any other props that you find supportive. Yoga blocks always come in really handy. If you don't have blocks, you could use books, and you might like the use of a blanket. Okay, with that said, I look forward to seeing you on the mat. Before we begin, I'd just like to remind you that you don't need to engage with any parts of the practice that don't support you. If something is triggering to you or doesn't feel good in your body, then please don't do it. Honour the safety and comfort of your body always. I'm just here to guide you through your journey today. You know your body the best. So explore with allowing being where you are to be exactly enough. You can always add anything on. You could stay in a shape for longer time or shorter time. You can change anything or take anything away that doesn't serve you, finding your own unique expression throughout the practice. I may bring your attention to sensations throughout the body. Please know that if you don't feel anything at all, or maybe you feel something in a completely different area, this is perfectly okay. It's normal and acceptable not to feel exactly what I'm saying. So explore, making a choice not to judge. There's no right or wrong. Try to enjoy your experience, whatever it is. I invite you to start the class in any comfortable position that feels safe and supportive to you. My offering for you here is perhaps to join me in child's pose. We could perhaps take the bolster behind the knees as you sit the hips back towards the heels. Maybe reach the arms forwards if this feels comfortable, and you might like to take a block and place it underneath the forehead. Another option for you here could be to place the bolster in front of you long ways and take the knees as wide as feels comfortable. Bringing the body forwards to rest upon the bolster, and feel free to pop the bolster up with blocks if this is more comfortable for you. And you might like to rest on the forehead or turn the head to one side as you rest the head down. Once you find your comfortable shape here, wherever that may be, I invite you to take a moment to notice the support of the ground beneath you. Perhaps notice where the tops of the feet rest on the ground. And you might like to explore with the sensation of touch, bringing awareness to what's underneath the palms of the hands. Maybe noticing the texture, if it's soft, hard, the temperature, maybe it's warm or cool. Just seeing what's there for you in the present moment. If you had your head turned to one side, you might like to look the other direction now. Feel free to stay in the pose for as long as you'd like. Maybe this pose is really supportive to you and you want to spend the whole class here. Know that that's perfectly okay. This is your body and your choice always. If you feel ready to come out of this pose, I invite you to slowly make your way up. And we'll take the bolster across the mat. So we'll come onto the right hip. Bring the bolster to meet your hip bone and lie across with the side body. So I invite you to get comfortable here and maybe consider exploring one small shift that you could make in the body to bring some more peace into this pose. So I'll offer you some options here. You might like to extend the top leg. You might like to reach the left arm over the head. maybe it feels more comfortable in your body to rest your head into your hand or perhaps on a block. And you could reach the left arm over the head. Or you could grab a block and allow the arm to rest on the block. So wherever you come to rest, feel free to engage with your breath in a way that feels accessible to you right now. And I invite you to stay here for maybe 3 more breaths. And in your own time, in your own way, we'll come up to a seat. And we'll keep the right knee bent and the left leg straight, bringing the right foot to touch the inside of the left leg anywhere. So I invite you to turn your body slightly towards the right side. Now maybe you like to stay here, or you could reach your right arm up and over the head, making your way towards your left toes. Now if you would like, you could set up your block, your bolster. Maybe resting your elbow onto your props, resting the head into the hands. And then you may find that the right arm is more comfortable down or across the top of the head. So let's again here have a think of one small shift that you could make in the body to find some more peace here in this pose. Maybe you could soften the shoulders. Smooth out the forehead. And as you're ready, I invite you to slowly bring yourself back up. And we'll turn to look towards the left toes. So again, I'm going to offer you a couple of options to use props or not. So perhaps you could bring a little activation into the left leg by flexing the foot. Lengthening through the spine. Maybe start to walk the hands forwards towards the top of the mat. You might like to take your bolster, wrap the arms around like you're giving it a hug, and rest the chin or the forehead onto the bolster as you lean forward. And another option could be to set yourself up a little ramp using the block and the bolster. And if you have more blocks, you can stack them up like Lego bricks as high as you need. And allow the body to move forwards to rest onto your bolster. So I invite you here to bring your awareness to your breath. And perhaps notice where the sensation of breath is in your body. Maybe you're feeling it along the back of the body here, into the back of the rib cage. And as you're ready, I invite you to sit your way back up and bring the bolster back behind you, long ways this time. Now, if you'd like, I invite you to again come onto your right hip, and this time bend the left knee so the knees are on top of each other. And you could start to turn towards the back of your mat, facing your bolster. Snuggle the bolster in towards your hip and lay the front body down onto the bolster. Turning your head to one side. So I invite you to explore turning the head both ways and see which way feels more comfortable for you right now, right here today in this present moment. And honour the compassion and self-love to not force your body into any shape that it's not comfortable with. Allow your body to slow down and give it this space to be in a kind and gentle shape. So if there's any adjustments that you would like to make, feel free to adjust the shape in any way. As you're ready, in your own time, in your own way, coming back to a seat and crossing the legs. You might like to sit your hips onto your bolster. You may prefer to bring the bolster in front of you. So we'll take a moment to settle into the ground. And then start to walk the hands forwards towards the top of the mat. Feel the sensations in the body. If you feel tight in the psoas, in the front of the hips, try to make yourself a little more comfortable in the pose here. You could place blocks underneath the knees and stay upright. There's no need to punish the body, no need to force it into any shape. There's no right or wrong. If you'd like, you could have the bolster in front of you, holding onto it, moving forward. or setting up the ramp. Invite some softness into the face. Feel free to engage with your breath. And as you're ready, coming back to a seated position. We'll get ready to repeat this little sequence on the other side. So bringing the bolster behind you. Coming onto the left hip. Laying the side body across the bolster. And feel free to set yourself up in a way that feels comfortable and supportive to you. Maybe that's resting the head into the hand. Maybe it's resting your head onto your arm. You might like to straighten the top leg. Perhaps reaching the right arm overhead. Perhaps explore with resting the hand onto a block. Wherever you are, let's think about what you could invite into the body to bring about a little bit more peace into the pose. Perhaps we could soften the shoulders. Maybe loosen the legs. And we'll stay for another breath. And as you're ready, in your own time, in your own way, coming up to a seat. We'll keep the right knee bent out to the side. The left knee bent out to the side, and bringing the left foot to touch the right leg. So begin to notice the sensations in your body. Maybe bring in a little activation into the right leg by flexing the foot. And I invite you to turn a little bit towards the left side. Now you might like to reach the left arm up away from the ground. And maybe lean towards the right toes. If you'd like, you could set yourself up with props. Maybe bringing the elbow onto the bolster or a block, resting the head into the hand. And you might like to reach the right arm over the head. Oh, sorry, I'm getting my lefts and rights completely the wrong way round. The left arm over the head. Maybe see if we can root down a little more through the sitting bones. Perhaps noticing the sensations down the left side of the body. And as you're ready, slowly sitting up. Turning towards the right toes. You could walk the hands forwards towards the top of the mat. You could hug the bolster. You could lean forwards and rest onto the bolster. Feel for the sensations in the back of the right leg. You could always bend the right knee slightly. Try to find kindness in the body, honouring this moment of self-love and compassion. Slowly making your way back up. I invite you to bring the bolster behind you, long ways. Bending the right knee and coming onto the left hip so the knees can rest onto each other. Snuggle the bolster towards the left hip and turn towards the top of the mat, bringing the front body down onto your bolster. And you might like to explore with turning the head in both directions and honour the comfort of your body. See which feels the most comfortable for you in this present moment. You're welcome to engage with your breath if that feels accessible to you. We'll stay here for one more breath. And slowly make your way back to a seated position. If you'd like, you could sit up on the bolster. Separate the feet. Bringing the fingertips to the ground or to a block. Maybe you'd like to stay here. You could bring some activation into the legs by flexing the feet. And feel free to bend the knees. If you like, you could walk the hands forwards. And if you prefer, you could have the bolster in front of you, or you could set up blocks to rest the head upon. Perhaps bring a little ease into the back of the neck. Separate the teeth and allow the jaw to soften. And we'll stay here for another breath. And as you're ready, slowly coming up to a seat. Feel free to stay seated on your bolster and come into any comfortable seated position, maybe crossing at the shins or the ankles or any other seated position that serves you well. We'll interlace the fingers together and bring the hands over the heart in unshakable trust mudra. Feel free to engage with your breath here. As you're ready, I invite you to flip the palms forwards, press the palms forwards, separating the shoulder blades, softly rounding through the back. And I invite you to breathe in, and with your inhale, reaching the palms towards the sky, elevating the shoulders, maybe pressing the arms back. Releasing the hands, opening the arms to shoulder level, begin to turn towards one side. Bringing the front hand to rest onto your knee and the back hand to the floor, to a block. I invite you on the inhale to lengthen through the spine. And as you exhale, maybe turn a little bit more towards the side of your room. Be kind to your body. Don't force and crank the body round into this twist. Allow it to happen quite naturally. Lifting the back hand from the floor as you inhale, you might like to reach the arm up to the sky. And as you exhale, maybe leaning forward slightly towards the knee. As you inhale, come back to sitting up nice and tall. And bring the hand back to the ground or to the block behind you. Now with an inhale, I invite you to reach the arms overhead as you turn back to face the front. And as you exhale, turning to the other side. Bringing the front hand to the opposite knee and the back hand to the floor or a block. And try to get away from what you think the twist should look like. Don't force into it. Allow it to happen quite naturally here. Inhale, lifting and lengthening through the spine. And exhale, see if the body wants to turn a little bit more towards the side. And I invite you here with your inhale to lift the hand away from the ground. Maybe you'd like to reach the arm all the way to the sky. And as you exhale, you could start to lean forwards towards the knees. With the inhale, reaching the arm back up to the sky. Exhale, bringing the hand to the ground or the block behind you. As you inhale, I invite you to reach the arms back up. Exhaling, bringing the hands down behind you, maybe to your bolster or to the floor or to blocks. Moving the shoulder blades towards one another, pressing the rib cage forwards. Feel free to engage with your breath. And as you inhale, sweeping the arms overhead. Exhale, bringing the hands to heart center. And allow the hands to rest. You might like to come into a reclined position here. Maybe Shavasana with the bolster behind the knees. Perhaps constructive rest. Or you may prefer to stay seated. And I invite you to take your back against the wall if that's comfortable for you. Wherever you are, take a moment to soften into the ground underneath you. Settling into the ground, notice the floor underneath you, supporting you. What's one small shift you can make in the body to bring some peace and kindness into your body here? Maybe that's softening through the jaw, smoothing out the forehead. Taking some intuitive movement. Whatever feels good in your body. You're welcome to close the eyes if that feels comfortable, or soften the gaze, or just keep them open. Notice the sounds around you. And allow them to dull a little bit and fade into the background. Notice your breath. Allow the breath to flow naturally. Notice any thoughts and allow them to float by on a cloud. Find freedom in your fingers, peace in your palms, ease in your elbows, softness in your shoulders, cheer in your cheeks as you smile. All of life is wrapped up in this breath. Feel this breath. And maybe you'd like to stay here and honour this moment of rest for as long as serves you. If you feel ready to return to your day, I invite you to make your way back to a seated position of your choosing, in your own time and in your own way. May we invite peace into our bodies. May we use words to heal and create peace. May we bring peace to our minds. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you for your courage to explore this moment of self-love and compassion. Feel free to reflect on anything that maybe came up for you here and note it down in your journal or a notebook if that serves you well. I look forward to seeing you next time. Enjoy the rest of your day.